live or watching live, and those of you that might be watching this as it's been recorded. Just to let you know, for those of you that may not already know, this live broadcast is automatically recorded, and so within minutes after, you can go ahead and watch it just below the live broadcast on the page. And I also try to post a copy of it on my website. So just want to welcome everyone, and we're going to go ahead and continue with our series here. And this week we're going to be looking at self-confidence. Self-confidence. And the reason that this is so incredibly wonderful to talk about is that I've heard from many people over the last several years that as a result of watching videos or listening to audio, because they felt more confident, they were able to speak well. Has that ever happened to you? That literally within minutes, when your confidence has been increased, your speech improves, right? Has that ever happened? I've had people tell me that when they felt hopeful and happy, their speech improved. As a matter of fact, I have a young lady who is 68 years old who is working with me now. And she told me that after watching a series of videos of mine that for an entire week her speech was essentially fluent. Then after that week, it started to kind of go back. So I said, well, what was the difference? How were you feeling, or what did you do? And she said, I was feeling happy. She said, I was just feeling happy and hopeful. So there's something about our attitude and how we're feeling about ourselves and about our potential that can have a direct and immediate and an incredible impact on our speech, yes? So many of you know that, once again, when you feel confident, when you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, your speech improves. So the question is, how can you create, right, a mental environment, and how can you control your outer environment such that the majority of the time you're feeling hopeful, you're feeling confident, right? You're feeling good about yourself, about your ability to speak well. How can you create a mental environment and an external environment so that you're feeling hopeful, that you're feeling confident, and that you're relatively happy? We're not going to be happy all the time, right? But that's the question. How can you do that? So today, we are going to look at a few very specific steps towards the end that you can use to build your confidence, because we're primarily focusing on confidence, right? But the other things are important too, the hope and the happiness and so forth. What can you do to build your confidence? So there's something that I call the confidence-competence cycle, right? Or the competence-confidence cycle. Now, what is this? Well, when you are competent, now what does competent mean? Does someone tell me? I'm waiting. Okay, I know you can't really answer me right now. So what I'm going to do is share with you a definition of competence. When you're competent at something, it means that you are skilled at it, right? It means that you are good at it, you're proficient. So when someone has a sense of competence at something, it means that they are good at it, that they're an expert at it, that they're very good at it, that they're proficient at it, they're competent. Okay, they can do it, and perhaps they can do it well. Now here's the thing. When you and I are competent at something, for example, speaking, when we experience competence, when we speak well, we gain, we develop, we build what? Confidence. Exactly. When we speak well, we develop confidence. And, watch this, when our confidence increases, right, because we talked about this at the very beginning, and some of you said, yes, I have experienced times when I felt confident, I spoke better, or I spoke well, or I spoke 100% fluently. So when we're competent, when we're good at something, when we're good at speaking, let's say when we have a good speaking day or a good speaking experience, it can build our confidence. And when we feel more confident, then what happens? We're able to speak better. And when we're able to speak better, that experience of speaking competently, of speaking well, then it cycles back around and builds our confidence. Do you see where I'm going, right? So that's why I call it the competence-confidence cycle, okay? Very, very, very important concept to understand. So the Pro 90D speech system helps you create a cycle of competence and confidence. Now, how do we do that? How do we do that? So I'm going to start to get into some of the steps now, and then we'll go back at the end and actually review them specifically. And I'm actually going to just use the book. If you haven't gotten a copy of that, make sure that you email me so that we can get you a copy of it. But I'm going to kind of run through some of the steps now. The fastest and the most intelligent way to build competence, that is, to give you the experience of speaking well, the fastest way to do it is through something that starts with an M. And what is it? Tell me what you think it is. The mobile speech trainer? No, that's not. I mean, that's a good way, but modeling, right? Modeling. When you model someone, what you're doing is you're borrowing their speaking style. You're borrowing their speaking style. You're making it yours temporarily until you integrate it into your own. You're borrowing their competence, making it your own, and therefore allowing you to immediately experience smooth, fluent, and confident speech. Now, I just saw this the other day, okay? Again, working with this young lady, 68 years old, and she's been stuttering for over 60 years. And I'm not talking mild, okay? I'm not talking mild. And within a matter of minutes, as we worked through the modeling, she was able to practice, that is, to do the presentation, a few seconds of it, completely fluently, with energy, with inflections, and all of that, within just a matter of minutes. Okay, so what does that mean? What she did is she borrowed, right? She borrowed someone else's speaking style, and she experienced immediately fluent speech. Now, why is this so powerful? Because the more she experienced competence at speaking, the more she speaks well, the more she will believe that she can speak well. The greater her confidence, the greater her self-esteem, the greater her motivation and hope, right? The greater her happiness. And when all of that happens, then what does that do? That increases her confidence. Well, yes, I can do this. I just saw myself. I just experienced speaking well. And if I could do it then I can do it again. And if I can do it in presentation, why can't I do it in conversation? Now, I know that that's a major issue, it's a major challenge for many of you. Yeah, maybe you can do the presentations well, but you struggle doing the conversations. And I'd like to touch on this in a lot of my videos because I know it's a major issue. And let me just tell you how to do that here. One technique that you can use is this. Now, listen to me closely. Listen to me closely. If you're listening, say, I'm listening. Okay, wherever you're at, just say, I'm listening. You practice the presentations. You create a presentation style. You go out, and in every conversation, you take your presentation style and you start out using it in the conversations. Now, somebody says, well, that's ridiculous. You know, how can I use this presentation style where it says, hi, welcome, my name is Michael Williams, or whatever your name is. How can I use that in conversations? It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't look right. Let me just tell you. What looks funnier? What looks worse? What's more uncomfortable? Using a presentation style to speak smoothly and fluently, or stuttering, blocking, not able to get out what you want to say. Which one is funnier? Which one is stranger? Probably the stuttering. So, would you rather stutter or would you rather use this presentation style? Now, wait, I'm not telling you that you have to use the presentation style forever or not even for that long, even in that conversation. I say you start out using the presentation style and then you quickly try to modify it so it feels more conversational. And the only way you can experience this is to do it, right? I can explain it to you. You can intellectually understand it, but it's only when you actually get out and do it that you actually get a feel for, okay, I'm going to start out speaking using using a presentation style. But then quickly I'm going to try to modify it down so it feels more conversational. So it is and it looks more conversational. Does that make sense? So in your presentation style, if you are using a lot of facial expressions, you're inflecting a lot, you're extending, you're using lots of hands, then you just use a little less, right? But you still got to have that energy. You still need to inflect. You still need to extend. You still need to do all those things, just a little less. And the only way you can learn how to do a little less is to actually get in there, do it full force, and then modify it down, right? So you have to just start out using your presentation style every time you open your mouth to speak so that you can learn how to modify it down. That's the secret. That's the key. That's it. Okay? Now, let's go back. We're talking about modeling and the power of modeling and building confidence. So the more experiences you have of speaking competently, of speaking well, the greater your confidence. And the greater your confidence, the stronger and the better your competence, the better you will speak well. Okay? So by borrowing someone else's speaking style, you can quickly build competence and confidence. And then that cycle just continues to go and to build like a snowball until you really start to believe that you can speak well, that you can present well, that you can converse well. And once you start to believe it and you start to see it and you start to do it, then there's no stopping you. Okay? This is critically important for you to understand and to practice. That's why we do the modeling. If you don't do the modeling, what you're doing is you're taking the long road, the hard road. You say, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to memorize presentations. I don't want to model Michael. You don't have to model me. Find someone else to model who exhibits these skills, right? You don't want to find someone to model who speaks real fast because that's not going to help you, right? So, but I don't feel like doing the modeling. It's too hard. I don't have time. It's frustrating. I can't really get his style. That's the whole purpose of it. It's supposed to be frustrating. It's supposed to be hard. You're not supposed to be able to get the style right off the bat. Those are the very things that will help you create this new and different style. It needs to be different from your own style. No, you're not going to look strange. You're not going to be a different person, right? Literally. But what you're going to do and what you have to do is you're going to have to substantially change your speaking style. There's got to be some very specific and substantial changes to the way that you speak. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Otherwise, you're just fixing little things about your old speech, but not really making substantial changes so that you have a new speaking style. Makes sense, right? So let's look at then some very specific steps that you can take to build your confidence. We already talked about one. Find a model. Find a model that you can copy. Observe that model. Watch them and listen to them. Watch them and listen to them and copy them, right? Try to literally become them when you're speaking. See, the more you can step outside of yourself and into another persona, another character, the faster you can assume this new speaking style. And the faster you can do that, the more positive speaking experiences you have, the more competence you experience, the more confidence you experience, and the better you'll speak. Okay? So find yourself a model. Second step, push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Push yourself beyond your comfort zone. So this means that you may not be comfortable doing certain things. And what I want you to do is to incrementally, step by step, push yourself a little bit more, a little bit more. So let's just say you're not comfortable conversing with strangers. So all you have to do is just make it a point that each day, once a day, or a few times a week, you go out and you just say one thing to someone that you don't know. Just one little thing. Doesn't have to be a long conversation. Could be anything. What's the time? Where's this? How much is that? Just one little thing. Just do that one little thing. And as you do that and you build confidence, right? You get past the fear of just doing one little thing. Then what's going to happen is you'll be able to do two little things and three little things. You'll be able to speak a little bit longer, a little bit more with more people. Okay? So you have to move out beyond your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is there to help us. It's there to help you. Our comfort zone, it's our homeostasis, if you will. It's what keeps us balanced. And what it does is it keeps us from going off in all directions all the time. It helps us stay more focused and more consistent, okay? Because otherwise, if we didn't have a comfort zone, if we didn't have this homeostasis where we have this balance and we do the same things over and over, if we didn't have that, we'd be all over the place, right? So we need it, but it can also hurt us because it can keep us from doing things that are beyond our comfort zones, things that make us feel uncomfortable. I call this an uncomfortable comfortability. An uncomfortable comfortability. It's something that we feel comfortable doing, but truly it's uncomfortable. So when we stutter, when we speak that way, it's uncomfortable, but we've been doing it so long, it's comfortable, right? It's something that we're used to doing. When we're challenged to speak in a different way, that feels uncomfortable. But ultimately, when you're speaking more rhythmically and smoothly, it actually becomes and it feels more what? More comfortable. You guessed it. So it's this kind of, it's this funny thing where it's almost like something. In fact, it's like being in a bad relationship. It's uncomfortable, but you're so comfortable there that you just stay there. So keep this in mind as you begin to challenge yourself. So what do you need to do? One step at a time. Do one small thing to kind of ease your way past your comfort zone. You don't want to necessarily jump out there, but you can ease your way past your comfort zone, right? And ease yourself out into something that's going to challenge you. Okay. The third step is to affirm and visualize. So in other words, you create something that you say to yourself, an affirmation using a 3P statement. We won't talk about that now. We talked about it earlier, and we'll talk about it again. Or you can even use a 2P statement. You can say, Michael, you can do this. You can speak well. So you can talk to yourself. You can say, I can do this. I can speak well. And you do this in the morning, you do this in the evening, and you do it throughout the day. Why? Because what you want to do is counteract those other thoughts that say you can't do this, you're going to stutter here, you got to counteract them. So you got to feed yourself with more constructive thoughts, right? More constructive thoughts, more constructive conversations. Visualize. What do I mean by that? Picturing. What you have to do is literally just take a minute and picture yourself speaking well. Picture a specific situation when you spoke well. What did it look like? You're going to use all your senses if you can. What did it sound like? Were there smells around, right? Were you in a cafeteria? Were you in an office? What did it smell like? Were you chewing something, eating something, drinking something? What did it taste like? What did it feel like? How did your body feel when you were speaking well? Did you feel excited, right? What did it feel like? So you take that previous experience when you spoke well, you picture it, lock it in, and then you project it to a new experience. Now you picture yourself in another experience. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Who's around? What are they doing? Are they smiling? Are they nodding? Are they shaking your hand? Are they saying, that was great? Picture that. Do that just 1 minute a day. Just 1 minute a day. Picture yourself speaking well. Okay? 3 steps. First one, find a model. It's the fastest way. Second, move beyond your comfort zone, right? Go out, use your new speaking style. That's going to be moving you out of your comfort zone. Just do it a little bit at a time. One conversation, right? One conversation, one sentence, and then keep doing it until it becomes more and more comfortable. Third thing, affirm and visualize. Talk to yourself, first person or second person. You can do this, and picture your success, okay? So, a couple of things before we wrap it up. Share this video, share this link every week, just about every week, unless I'm out of town. We'll do this. If you have an iPhone, please visit the website that I'll leave for you. Check it out, download it. You have everything right there in the palm of your hand. You do need to have access to the internet in order to use it. So if you don't have strong internet, or if you don't have internet, then you wouldn't be able to use it. Check it out. There's some awesome features in there, tracking and interactive videos, some things that you can use to help you improve your speech. You can watch this directly from inside the app. Some of you may be doing that. And there's some other things. So check that out. For those of you that are ready to take the next step, maybe you're taking the ABCs course or something and you're ready to take the next step, take the ultimate course, which is the Pro 90D Speech System 2.0. Go ahead and jump in, get that course, and just follow it week by week. And do the very best that you can to follow it. And you're going to start to see some incredible results, okay? Look forward to hearing from you. Like this, share on your Facebook, Twitter. Leave me comments if you have questions. Please do that. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week.